Hello, everyone, and I hope everyone's doing well today. And today I'm going to be talking about Friday's setup across the Ohio Valley. Um, yes, we're still about you know 3.5-ish days, from sort of the event, 3 days. So some things can change, but think um, I think Friday is a potential day that everyone's gonna have to watch. It has some significant possibilities. Um, and I will kind of just briefly talk about it this video. And kind of just wait for more data to come in, more higher res model runs to sort of analyze. And then I'll make another video Thursday, more than likely, and Friday, talking about the setup. So, um, but real quick, I do want to mention, speaking of Thursday, this is Thursday's risk here, um, for the Ohio Valley here, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, um, just outside of Louisville, but this extends all the way up through Wisconsin here. The marginal risk is from Duluth, Minneapolis, down to Charleston, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, down through Little Rock. Um, there does seem to be a pretty possible tornado threat. Um, but I will more than likely again be making a video, probably Thursday morning, um, of this event as well, or potentially Wednesday night. So just be on the lookout for that. So here is our National Weather Service here. This is their day four severe weather outlook here. And you can see here, well, they have this 15 sort of bean-shaped risk, really from sort of just outside of Little Rock all the way up through outside of Cincinnati. Anywhere in between under that 15% risk, including Memphis, Bowling Green, Evansville, Indiana, parts of southern Missouri as well. Um, this is where the National Weather Service is sort of hinting at the sort of best area for severe weather on Friday. So there's that. And let's sort of look at what's causing this sort of severe weather setup here. So this is the Euro model here, and what just happened there? This is the Euro model here. I'm gonna just sort of zoom it by here. Okay. Okay, so this is Thursday at about 1 p.m. here, and we see our again for our Thursday's risk up through Wisconsin here and Indiana. We can see the troublemaker for that is going to be kind of centered off to our west here. And this is Thursday afternoon. By Thursday evening, a lot of this 40 to 50 knot flow will be entering in that risk area for Thursday. But we do have a negatively tilted trough here um, with and we have our nice, we have a Pacific flow here, and we can tell by that, and we can see if we follow these black lines here, we you can see a positively tilted trough. All right. And at the base of this positively tilted trough, so kind of right where my crosshairs are, we can see we can see wind flow coming from the Pacific. You kind of see the wind direction coming in parallel to these lines, right? If you can tell, the wind direction is parallel to these black lines. So that represents really nice flow. And we can see this nice flow as it enters into the base of the trough up here, up through Texas. So we have a nice Pacific flow, but we also have, since this closed low is so situated up north, we also have a polar sort of flow starting to kick in, and we can kind of see that from the Pacific Northwest up here. This is two separate flows, two separate flows. So we have this separate flow all the way down to Mexico. Then we have this one at the Pacific Northwest. Um, these two flows are going to be feeding into Thursday's and Friday's system. And when you have the combination of these two flows, normally, of course, it depends on a few other things, but normally that can lead to significant um, weather events. So this is kind of why I'm sort of concerned for Friday, especially across Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Ohio, parts of southern Illinois, much of Tennessee, sort of in that area. But yes, we'll see this sort of split flow better here as we move on. I'll quickly move this. This is Friday morning, about 7 in the morning here. And we can see our closed low up in Minnesota here. We can see you can see the combination of both of these flows just combining here in the Ohio Valley, Midwest, even the plains here. Healthy batch of around 50 to 60 knot winds by Friday morning here. And again, we see a more, it's again positively tilted here. Just a little short wave off of the Baja coast of Mexico. But again, we can see that Pacific flow coming into Texas, and then we can see our polar flow coming in from the Pacific Northwest. And again, just follow these lines here, these black lines, parallel to them. That's how the wind will flow most of the time. And we can see one band of flow there and another flow band there. Again, creating this already with a nice, impressive closed low here, creating a nice pocket of mid-level winds. So as we move on, um, this is like Friday evening here, um, and we can see again a nice batch of 50 to 65 knot winds across the Ohio Valley and um, sort of the Midwest here. So um, our mid-level flow is a check mark for Friday. Really, I mean we have plenty of flow, substantial flow, and it's going to be plenty to sort of contribute into a severe weather setup here. Also in Thursday as well. This is sort of the same overall setup, um, flow wise, as Thursday and Friday. So very interesting to see these two flows kind of come together. Let's look at our 700 millibar winds here, kind of closer to the surface here. And this is Friday morning here. We can see that closed low in Minnesota at the base of the trough here. Um, Significant winds, 50, 65 knots. Um, but we can see here from, we do have seems like we do have a high pressure kind of located over south of Florida, Florida's panhandle coast here. Sort of injecting some more Gulf of Mexico moisture. inflow into across the Ohio Valley here, also with the Pacific flow here, kind of combining here at the base of the closed low trough, um, creating a nice pocket of sort of 45 to 60 knot winds at our 700 millibar level here. As we move on, sort of to the evening here, as the severe threats sort of unfolding and moving across the area. Again, 40, 45 knot winds at our 700 millibar level seem likely. And further south for the euro, with kind of highlighted um, banding of 700 millibar winds here, where 55 knot winds are kind of located over central NC. So let's look at the GFS real quick. 500 millibar winds. See if it kind of shows the same thing. See if it's on agreement here. So this is Thursday, Thursday evening here, and again we have our closed low, Dakotas, Minnesota area. Again we have our Pacific flow here and our polar flow here, combining across our plains area. Um, and as our severe threat is unfolding Thursday, the entering the enter region of this main jet streak here will be heading into the area, sort of enhancing that convection. So GFS is kind of showing the same thing here. This is Friday afternoon. Again, closed low, Minnesota. Nice sort of jet streak there, but we do have nice flows here again. And a nice batch of sort of 50 to 60 knot 500 millibar winds across the Ohio Valley and Midwest here. So this is Friday, kind of Friday night here, and we can see kind of the highlighted region of that flow, and it's a lot further. It's a little bit more north than the Euro. Kind of the jet streaks through here. Kind of has it through the St. Louis, Indianapolis region here, around like 70, 75 knots, but the general sort of a 50, 60 knot batch of 500 millibar winds, in the same overall general locations. But of course, the location of kind of where maybe a little jet streak is set up will definitely enhance that area's sort of risk. So that needs to be watched. So let's look at the 700 millibar and see if so this is Friday morning around 7 o'clock here. We can see our closed low up north with the main jet streak at the 700 millibar level. We can see our flows combining with the Gulf of Mexico advection here, combining for a nice little streak of 50, 60 knot 700 millibar winds through sort of the Memphis region up through Charleston, West Virginia, up into the mountains, but a nice 40 knot sort of region area of winds across the Ohio Valley here. As we move on through the evening here, we can see sort of yeah, the highlighted sort of risk, highlighted 700 millibar winds in the general sort of area. Um, Again, maybe a little bit more north, but again, a lot of the areas seeing sort of 40 knot 700 millibar winds as well. A nice little sort of streak across central Illinois down through Missouri here. But again, our flow is really nice here. Our flow is nice. Check mark for both. Let's look at our dew points real quick. And So yeah, this is Thursday sort of evening here. We have a nice warm sector across the Ohio Valley where our um, that southern part of that wrist kind of extends in Indianapolis. We have a nice warm sector in place by Thursday evening. Um, Very interesting, I think, maybe across there Thursday evening. But Friday morning here, we can see the warm sector is still in place here, mid 60 dew points. This is the GFS model. Um, and by Thursday, or by, excuse me, by Friday evening here, our warm sector of mid 60s across central Ohio, um, eastern Kentucky, all the way west to central Missouri, where some low 70 dew points are even shown on the GFS here. And by sort of Friday night, we can see um, where that warm sector kind of extends north up through north of Columbus, Indianapolis, a little bit north of St. Louis, and that main sort of section across central Kentucky down through Arkansas. So let's look at our Euro dew points real quick. Kind of compare. So Friday morning here. Again, yeah, we had that nice warm sector still there after Thursday's event. Friday afternoon, we could see that sort of boundary, warm front boundary, sort of approaching Indianapolis, just now approaching Columbus by 1 o'clock. But we can see definitely more impressive warm sector than the GFS, low 70s across much of Kentucky, mid 60s across much of West Virginia. Um, by Friday evening here, definitely the year was definitely further south. Um, we're barely getting mid 60s into Columbus, Indianapolis. The GFS was almost up to Cleveland and to even Fort Wayne, Indiana. But Euro is definitely further south. The main warm sector seems to be over central Kentucky, further south, even parts of central West Virginia, getting into the upper 60s, even southern Ohio. But further south, definitely the Euro here. But yes, we have nice flow. We have a nice moisture base here over that sort of mid level and over that sort of closer to the near surface flow. So, yeah, severe weather, check mark, check mark, check mark. I think severe weather is very likely across the Ohio Valley here, especially Kentucky, southern Ohio, Indiana, southern Illinois, parts of Tennessee, much of Tennessee, Missouri, parts of southeastern Missouri, much of central and northern Arkansas, potentially, but especially kind of further north, the first regions I mentioned. But I do want to look at two other sort of um, severe weather analogs and sort of forecasts. And this is called SIPs here, and this is a severe weather analog, and a, this is for Friday, and this is for one severe weather report within a pixel grid, one of these little squares here. And again, we just kind of use this to sort of highlight the general area um, of concern that these models are sort of pointing at, and then we sort of compare them and you know compare the differences, similarities, and kind of pinpoint an area that has the best chance this far out. So we can see the latest run of the SIPs here, and we can see just the overall sort of um, increase in activity across central Ohio all the way down through central Arkansas, southern Missouri, including Cincinnati, Louisville, Memphis, Little Rock, St. Louis, Columbus. So those general areas, and this is the Colorado State sort of probability forecast here. Okay, we can see the National Weather Service, um, their forecast here, and this is the Colorado State forecast here. And again, they like the idea of the maximum sort of area of concern to be southern Indiana, Illinois, much of Kentucky, much of Tennessee, sort of in that general area, but also sort of that 30 to 45 percent also sort of extends to far western West Virginia up through Indianapolis, almost Columbus, Little Rock. So very significant weather day possible Friday across the Ohio Valley here, even the Mid South as well. So I will be um, keeping an eye on this and updating you across the week. And I will also have a video on Thursday set up for the Indianapolis, sort of Ohio, Southern Michigan area. So hope everyone takes care and has a great day. Thank you.